Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Conan the Barbarian Ultimate King Conan, brought to us by the fine folks over at Super7, who I have to quote my good buddy Just Monesto 2 and saying effing losers, because the one thing about this figure that kind of irks me is that they did not include the throne. That was sold separately for almost the same price as this figure. Excuse me, what? A big lump of plastic apparently costs the same as something that requires more than one tool to physically put it together. You do the math. But with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and take a look-see at all King Conan has to offer in terms of accessories he actually comes with. Starting off with an inverted pair of hands. He's got a fist and a grip hand on him currently. He does also come with an alternate fist and grip hand for the opposing sides. The grip hands do have the appropriate hinge for holding weapons. You know, only after umpteen releases, so didn't take him a while to do that, did it? We also have the throne-sitting hands, ironically. Won't be using these. Comes with a knife, a big short sword dagger thing that you can actually, if we lift his arm up here, he's got this little sheath on his hip. You can stow this in there like that, and it stays in there nice and snug. It's not going to fall out or anything. So that's cool, at least. At least he's got that, right? Doesn't have his freaking throne, but he's got that. Standing him back up there, putting him back in the center. He, of course, comes with the Atlantean sword. I have a ton of these. Got at least 3. I know there's probably another one coming with the next Conan Ultimate. I'm not sure if I'll get that or not. And we also have an alt head, which looks a lot like the head he's got on. And it also doesn't sit on the ball peg all the way for some reason, so I'm not going to use this head. I'll just keep him with the one he's got, which is good enough. So taking a closer look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. He does have this little fur pelt piece. It does come off. Typically, I slide mine underneath this, but it does look better on top of it. Just kind of helps frame everything, but it doesn't tab in or anything, so it just kind of hangs there. I don't know why this wasn't one piece with this. It seems kind of weird, but you do get the fur. He does have this soft goods kind of tunic vest thing, so he can sit, obviously. And then this piece is also separate. It's a separate plastic piece that goes around his neck. So pretty decent amount of materials here, but it's still Super7. That said, as far as articulation goes, his head will rotate a little bit up and down. Shoulders will go out, back down, forward and back. He's got a bicep swivel. I hold his arm. I can get it to move. There we go. Bicep swivel, single elbow. I think it gets a little bit more than 90. He does have rotation. He's got a swivel in the wrist with a hinge. Torso will move forward. I did have to crack mine loose initially, but he can bend all the way forward, which will be good for sitting. You can bend back. Put him back in neutral. He's got a waist twist. His hips will kick forward very, very well, so you can get him in a seated position. I don't have any thrones to test him out in. I do have the select Mephisto throne, but Mephisto's butt is on top of that, so he's not gonna be sitting on that. That's a little evil looking for this figure. I know it's Conan, but still. It does have a thigh cut. It works fine. If I move this arm up, you can kick out to the side, back down. It's got a single knee with rotation below that. Much good as that'll do you. does have the hinge in the foot with the rocker. So that's your lot. That is Conan in a nutshell. Pretty straightforward. It's cool. I think the Slayer guy is still my Super 7 figure of the year, but kind of hard to compete with that. But I will tell you, if you are a fan of Conan, you probably already have this. But if not, I think you should check it out so long as it's still available. Because I think it's probably the best one we've gotten. Despite the fact that, again, he should have come with his freaking throne. Even if it was like a hollow, cheap thing. You know, the way most Super 7 stuff is, hollow and cheap. I think it would have been a lot better. But that's just me. So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old King Conan, alongside the only other Conan figures I have from fine folks over at Super7, from the Conan the Barbarian movie, that is. We have the Pit Fighter Conan and the Iconic Pose Conan. I would have to say, of the three, this King Conan is probably the best. Now, I don't have the War Paint one handy. As far as a Schwarzenegger likeness goes, that one's probably the second best, but I think this one, since it doesn't have the War Paint going on, is probably numero uno. But there is a new one coming out that kind of looks like this Pit Fighter one that might be a little bit better, so I am kind of opt to check that out if I have the extra funds to pick it up. That said, Super 7 stuff's kind of selling out lately, so hopefully I can grab that before that happens. So moving these two out of the way, bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, which not 100% sure if Four Horsemen are still sculpting these Conan figures. I mean, they should be, because that's kind of their jam. I mean, they only have a whole figure line based off fantasy. And we also have the infamous Living Spawn, which, when are we going to get a Viking Spawn? Again, I shouldn't be holding my breath on new Spawn releases from the Todd Father, because I guess that line's just taking a back seat for DC Multiverse. But seriously, I want a Spawn the Blood Axe, but new, articulated, and not as fragile as the old one. My old one's hand broke off. Either way, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the throne being sold separately for some dumb arse reason, I have to say that good old King Conan here is probably the best Conan we've gotten from the fine folks over at Super 7, despite the fact that, yeah, the throne being sold separately is kind of a bummer, but also the accessories he does come with, kind of light, doesn't come with much. I think he comes with enough, because what else is he supposed to come with, right? Other than, again, the throne. But for the price, I feel like he could have come with a little bit more, despite the fact that he does have the nice soft goods kind of tunic thing going on and some extra bits of clothing. On top of that, just feels a little bit light, especially to that Pit Fighter Conan, which came with a bunch of weapons. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.